The Sims are holding a Q&A re-bug fixes over on their Discord tomorrow, and we got a laundry list earlier this week. Hello, my name is Jennifer, and welcome to my Sims 4 news video. So the Sims tweeted today, and they had already tweeted earlier this week about the laundry list, but here's what they tweeted today. 150 plus fixes, and we're not stopping there. More improvements are already underway as part of their ongoing effort to improve Sims 4 and focus on what matters most to you. And that was a follow-up to the tweet from the Sims Direct on Monday, and they had a short little video which essentially showed that they had seen that request to fix the game, and then there was a clip there with Sim Guru Ninja, or Dave Mioka. He goes by Sim Dev Dave over on the forums, and essentially, showing some of the fixes, but then directing over to the laundry list. And Dave is going to be one of the two who is going to be over on the Q&A on their Discord. So if you want to go ask some questions, they'll have a channel that's set up specifically for the Q&A. I've been there for Q&A for things to do with Adventure Awaits. It's a lot of chatting going on, but it's very focused, or they try and keep it focused on what the Q&A is supposed to be about. And with the Adventure Awaits Q&A, they've done a summary afterwards, so hopefully they'll do the same thing with this one too. So here is the actual laundry list where it comments about the 150 plus community chosen fixes that are coming on November 4th. That's when the base game update is going to be, which they had already told us that we were getting it then. So of course they have an introduction here where they welcome us, and then they indicate again November 4th they'll be releasing a large update fixing 150 plus community reported issues and bring exciting new free items to the base game. They haven't actually told us what those are yet, though we had heard with the live stream that only went live for Enchanted by Nature, but then disappeared afterwards, that there was supposed to be a new hairstyle coming. So I expect that is quite likely to be one of the things, but I'm not sure what the others are. And then they go on to say the update is part of their ongoing commitment to the community, ensuring the game remains stable, responsive, and enjoyable for players. They then go on to say that since their quality of life roadmap announcement, the EA Forums bug pages saw a huge jump in views, 148%, and then a tremendous surge in votes on the bug reports, and that helped them understanding what's affecting your game the most and directly shaped what they worked on for the update. So we'll briefly go through the fixes, but I did actually go through and look at it in detail to see actually how many upvotes the various fixes they're doing had. The numbers could be higher now, but it was the number at the time that I looked at it. And then again, they talk about Dave and Sims developer Alex joining the Discord community on Friday, October 31st. They don't mention the time there, but they did announce the time, and it's 10 a.m. Pacific is when that's happening. And if you are on their Discord, it'll convert it to your own time zone. My time, it's 1 p.m. Eastern. So they'll answer our questions about the fixes and can share more about what's coming next, as this isn't a one-time effort. They're committed to addressing community-raised issues consistently, and work is already underway on the next batch of fixes planned for December and beyond. And they're continuing to investigate the save file issues, and they actually had an update earlier in October. And then they're going to have another update on that next month, and I will cover briefly that update that they had after we go over the laundry list. So, and then again, they do the usual, if you have issues, go over the bug reports page. Make sure that when you go to the bug reports page that you use the search option to see if there's already a bug report, so that you can just upvote that bug report versus just creating a new bug report, because then they'll have to merge your bug report in, and then if you don't see that, the actual bug report doesn't get the upvote, and the upvotes can help shape what ones they look at. Though when we look at the numbers, there were some bug reports that didn't have a lot of upvotes, but I'm guessing they had easy fixes because some things did get fixed with low numbers. So the plus side of that is you don't necessarily have to worry that just because the thing that you reported is low doesn't mean that they're not going to look at it at all, because they did actually fix, or on the laundry list, they have some things with low items. So here is the top 5 most voted fixes, and the numbers of upvotes that they had at the time when I looked. I've also done a little highlight where I'm aware that there is at least one mod fix for the issue, and in some cases there may be more than one mod fix. Like this relationship decay one, there's a few out there that work around that. In some cases it may be that they just may need an update because it may not be fully fixed, because some of the issues with this relationship decay is with rotational play, and I know that one of the mods I've seen has to really go around that, and I highly doubt that that is going to be fixed. This may just be a portion of it being fixed, because they're saying it's after having a baby that it was too fast, but I think sometimes maybe more than that, but maybe they're also just latching on to one cause and it's just going to fix it all. But anyway, so you can see these top 5. I'm not going to talk about all of them, but we will talk, I'll mention these. So the first one was about photos turning black in inventory when taken with the camera. They're saying it applies to new saves only. I'm hoping that just means that it's not retroactive. It can't fix ones that have gone black, which we knew from Kunrik's comment that they wouldn't, and that it will work going forward in existing saves, or that's my hope. The sabotage interaction is not going to be available without completing the deviance aspiration, and there was an issue, I think this has been around for a while, where the mixologist, they take a break out, so then you couldn't order up any more drinks, I think is what it was. And then there was one about children not inheriting their features from their parents well. Though, funnily enough, I know that I've had Sims in the past have babies with Daryl Charman. They definitely got his nose, so maybe this is new, or maybe it wasn't consistent. I don't know. And then again, this one about the relationship decay. So those are the top 5, and the relationship decay I think was more of an issue with Lovestruck. So this is not specifically split between, if they pertain to a pack. But then they go on and they divvy it up between, base game, and then they cross multiple packs, and then by pack, and so on. Though in some cases, I'm not sure why they have them under base game fixes, because the setup milestone, you'd think that would be a growing together thing. But again, you can see the numbers there of the upvotes when I went and looked. And some are fairly low, like one there down at the bottom about the toddlers with 4 or 5 movement skill not walking as if they have lower movement skill while in certain moods. That's only 20, but I think that was actually a bug report over on the archive forum, so it's possible that they had a number from there too. And there's one there about the aspirations no longer defaulting to the first one when looking or switching. I had reported that, and I had noted it as fixed with the last update, and it was already marked as fixed, but it wasn't in the patch notes. Maybe this is their way of adding it to the patch notes, and hopefully that's all. Hopefully it doesn't break it. So here we have some more base game ones, and some don't have any links either because they go to the bug archive, or just because they're things they had noticed, I guess, and no one had actually done a bug report for them. And again, you can see some are low. There's one for 15, one for 16, and the one there with the 496 about the CAS categories, I think that's only, it says it's only for, part of it. It's not going to be a full fix. And a couple of these actually were linked to the same bug report, but they're showing as 2 different fixes. And I think that's because in some cases the reports, there's so many underlying things that there's more than one thing causing it. And that's why sometimes, it may seem like it's one thing, but it's more than one thing. So here we have affecting multiple packs, and you can see the numbers for that. And here we are now with the expansion packs, starting with Adventure Weights. They're going with the most recent pack all the way down to the oldest pack. That's the order they do it here. The very first one is actually not a bug report. It's from the feedback forum, so there's no upvotes for it. And that's that they're adding a curtain rod for modular curtains and Adventure Weights pack. And just, again, a reminder, anything with the yellow highlight means that it's something that I've seen a bug fix mod for. There could have been more, and I'm just not aware of them. So if you know that you have bug fix mods, you'll have to be aware of that, because they probably won't be needed, assuming the fixes work as indicated. So there were only, really 4 bug fixes for Adventure Weights that are from the forums. The other ones are things that they obviously were aware of and just fixed on their own, since the top one isn't a bug fix. It's just a feedback thing. And then for Enchanted by Nature, there are 4 fixes coming for that. Businesses and hobbies, there are 3. Life and death, there are, that seems to have a fair number that are being fixed, and a couple are actually from the bug archives. And in some cases, the numbers of the upvotes might be kind of low because they were already on the archive, and so they kind of have those in there too. But that's not in this number, but they have the information. Even though the bug archive is now been made private, EA can still see it. And so they are still monitoring it, obviously, to do fixes. But some things that were in the bug archive also have reports over on the new bug forum now. So there could be a mix in there. And Forent has quite a few fixes, obviously not the saves, but again, they talked about that, and we'll get to that next. Forent isn't the only reason that there are corrupt saves, just some features of Forent might make it more likely to happen. Again, there was a mod fix for one of those that I was aware of, and Horse Ranch has a couple of fixes there. Growing Together has a few, and even one, someone reported it, and no one ever upvoted it, but they're fixing it, so yay. Cottage Living has a couple, and Snowy Escape has one, and you see there's 3 that I'm aware of that have bug fix mods related to them. So for high school years, I'm not aware of any bug fix mods for any of these, but there is a decent amount of bug fixes for that. Same for Eco Lifestyle, there's a decent number, and then for Discover University and Island Living, there's only 1 bug fix. Get Famous has 3, Seasons has 4, though 1 is from the bug archive. That's why I don't have upvotes for that, because you can't see that. And even when you could see it, you couldn't see the Me Too count there anymore, just because of how it was brought over. So I wouldn't have been able to see what the count was regardless. Though obviously they have that information. I'm guessing they have that information. And so Cats and Dogs, there's one where it's noted as 2 separate fixes, but it's 1 bug report. But again, there is some that it's like a fix, but it looks like the bug report's going to continue because they're only doing a partial fix, where in this case they're obviously there's a couple of things and they're fixing 2 things from that bug report, and maybe that'll close it off altogether. Now, Get Together, there's 1, and Get to Work, there are 2. So that's it for the expansion packs, and now they have some game pack fixes. I think Werewolves is one of the ones with like a lot. The one with the Lunar's Experts Studio, most of the missing things had been fixed before, so the actual bug report is noted as fixed. It's actually another one of my bug reports. I don't do that many bug reports. Well, the 2 on here that are actually noted as fixed are mine. But that was not fixed, obviously. It was mostly fixed, I guess. So that's supposed to be fixed now, that part of it. And then we have here some more. The Outdoor Retreat one, I wasn't actually aware of that bug fix mod, but the person who had reported it or commented on it said they had a bug fix mod. So I'm like, okay, I'll make a note that there's a bug fix mod for that. And those are that. And then we have Stuff Pack. So there are 4 fixes for Stuff Pack, and one, I used the bug fix mod for that top one for Nifty Knitting. And that's it. So that is the 151, which I went through and physically added them up, did a little spreadsheet. So that came to the 151, which is the 150 plus fixes. So it is a lot of fixes. I do find usually when they have that many that is probably what they're going to be fixing, and I wouldn't expect there to be more, but you never know. I probably will take a look and compare the actual patch notes when they come out, which would be next week, to what was on the laundry list and see if everything was actually included. So now here's the post, the screenshot from the post on the community concerns with the save file October 2025 update, which happened earlier this month. So essentially they're just doing their update. They're still investigating and what steps they're taking. So, and the fact that they're committed to being transparent about their processes. So so far their progress was they had received dozens of saves. So that was helpful, from a community collaboration perspective. They've created some new tools to help them. They now have a player save database, which has information in there. And then they have actually looked at some past fixes to try and see if that can help them going forward. So from their current investigations, they're attempting to reproduce the issues reported by players both with and without mods, and they've identified some issues as strong leads, and then they have some information about that. And of course, it requires more time to investigate, but they're going to keep us updated on what they've learned so far. So far, there are some issues with scratch file concerns. So one of the most pressing leads involves scratch files. These are important, but temporary files the game relies on, and reports suggest that they may be disappearing or getting deleted, which could trigger corruption. So they're looking into the root cause of the deletions now, focusing on any areas where the Sims 4 files would come in contact with other systems, cloud backup services, and other external factors that could be deleting or overwriting these files. Now just know that when your game is open, the scratch file should be there, but when you close your game, you shouldn't have a scratch file anymore. But if it goes missing while the game is open, that would be what the concern is. So don't be concerned if when you look in your save folder, there's no scratch file if you're looking with your game closed, because you shouldn't see one then. So lot data issues. Another major area of focus is lot data. Some lots provided to them show up as missing or extremely minimal information in saves, and they've reproduced cases internally of endless loading white screens linked to certain build behaviors like super stuffed lots with and without mods, and they're tracking any potential links to specific expansion packs or objects, though corruption reports predate packs like Sims 4 for Rent. So saves were being corrupt before that came out. So, however, they have some other areas of focus. Excessive rental units don't seem to be the primary cause of corruption at this time. While more units do increase their error reports, data also suggests it's likely tied to overall save complexity rather than unit count alone. Instances of corruption existed before the release of For Rent, and their investigations into individual packs remain a top priority. In some cases, specific types of mods called script mods are leaving behind files after the mod is removed that can cause issues in The Sims 4, though they have not yet linked this to corruption. So their next steps are to continue to test venue-type data transfer across saves, deepening their investigation into scratch file deletion and common external programs, external historical cases of save bloat to understand potential connections, because that was one thing Kren had commented, that large save file can contribute, is more likely to be there at least when saves get corrupted. So there's a thought there might be a relationship between the two, but this is not necessarily guaranteed. Then they go on to say, out of an abundance of caution, they're removing the BB increase rental unit cap residential rental unit cheat in an upcoming update as a preventative step while broader fixes are developed. The step is needed to mitigate any potential risk. I don't know if that's going to be in this upcoming update, like November 4th. It would make sense to me that that was what was happening with the November 4th update. And they are planning on doing further updates on this, as they had already said, with the laundry list in November, I guess, because they said next month, which is November. So that was their update on the save file corruption. All the details, well, I didn't go over detail of the fixes in the laundry list, but you would have seen them on the screen. It was more what was kind of, how many per pack and whatnot. I'm curious what you think we're going to be getting for free in the update. I wouldn't expect it to be anything major, so that's just my 2 cents on that. Did you see some fixes that you're excited to see? And are you planning on being at the Q&A over on the Sims Discord on Friday? I'd love to know in a comment down below. But that's going to be it for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!